Hello students, this is Dr. Amisha Nayak, EC Department, Nirma University, and I am going to teach you EC 714 High Performance VLSI Design. You all have chosen this elective which is from VLSI domain. So in the first lecture, I would like to discuss the course learning outcome. So we have designed 4 learning outcomes for this course. After completing this course, you will be able to analyze and evaluate the noise effects for integrated circuits or integrated chips. You will be able to understand design issues of interconnect for submicron technology. So you will be able to understand what is interconnect, what is device, what is submicron technology. Then you will be also, as far as assessment policy is concerned, you will be assessed for C component, that is 100 marks. So this 100 mark I have divided into 3 part. One is 30 mark quiz, 30 mark term paper, and 40 mark comprehensive evaluation or sessional exam. So this 30 mark quiz I will divide it into 3 or 4 smaller quiz after the end of the chapter, and then total 30 mark I will calculate. It will not be a one quiz but several quizzes. Then term paper, I will give you the list of topics and you will select one topic from that. I will share the topics, and throughout the semester you will search research paper. So you will search 3 research paper at least from IEEE transaction or Elsevier or some standard journals, and then you will try to understand those papers and you will write your own paper. Not only that, you will prepare some 5 to 10 slides from on this topic, and uh, you will record this audio and submit in the uh, end of the semester. Then now, as far as the syllabus of this course is concerned, there will be some 7 units. So first unit 0 to I have written, that is 2 hour I will take to discuss, but it is written 2, but it may take some 3 or 4 hours. Okay. So first chapter is introduction and overview of integrated circuits. So in this we will be discussing about what is MOS transistor, what is integrated circuit, what is scaling of device, what is scaling of interconnect, what is the objective of IC design, what is high performance VLSI design, what is small geometry effect, device enhancement and interconnect enhancement. Then in the chapter 2, we'll be discussing about scaling and enhancement interconnect networks. So we'll be discussing about interconnect design criteria, interconnect passive parameter components, modeling of interconnect, improvement in the interconnect, signal propagation analysis, interconnect coupling noise and global signaling. Chapter 3, we will be discussing about power management on chip, power generation, linear regulator, switch capacitor converter, DC-DC converter, on-chip converters, power distribution networks. Chapter 4 also will be discussing about power network. So it is design flow of on-chip power network, modeling of RLC impedance, characterization of load circuit on-chip, power ground network analysis, and ground noise analysis. Chapter 5, we'll be discussing about synchronization in the latest circuits. So synchronous systems, characteristics, fully synchronized circuits, self-timing circuits, GALS circuits. In chapter 6, we will be discussing about on-chip clock generation and distribution, ring oscillators, crystal oscillators, phase lock loop, delay lock loop, clock tree, reset circuit, design and distribution. Unit 7 will be discussing about new logic, transistor models for high speed and low power design, FinFET, carbon nanotube, techniques to reduce noise and power dissipation in VLSI circuits. So this is all about the syllabus. Now the next question is, what is high performance VLSI design? So I would like to define as follows. Design or chip will be ultra low power, ultra low power, high speed with minimum delay, minimum noise effects, and reliable. So these are the design goals for a designer. That is known as high performance. Now if we see the evolution of IC design, then we can uh, demonstrate using the graph which is shown in this slide. So initially when they have started the integration in 1960, that was small scale integration. So in that, maximum 10 number of components or devices were packed. So there at that time the design goal was area, how we can reduce the area of the circuit. So we know that what is the another way to implement the circuit. We have PCB. On that we will draw various tracks, and we will uh, connect the components. So that is size is more. Now if you have seen the 555 timer IC or any, I will show you the pictures. So that is, as compared to that PCB, it is small. So at that time they have reduced the area of the PCB. So that was the goal. So yield was the concern. Why they have integrated? Another is the circuit, because all the connections between those components are inside the chip and it is packed in plastic package or maybe a metal package. So the interconnections are not affected by atmospheric conditions like water or humidity or temperature. So that is why it function better as compared to PCB where you are connecting discrete components. So yield means overall behavior or working of the chip will be better. So after that, after some 10 years, further improvements were came. So there the design goal, the goals with which designers are designing, that is split into two parts: speed area and power. So people were designing for power, or sometimes they were designed for speed. So there are two types of now designs: power aware or speed aware. And now integration is also increased. So from small scale it is now large scale integration. So hundreds of devices are packed in chip. How this was possible? By reducing the size of the individual component. We have reduced the size of the individual component. In the same area we are able to pack more number of, or 10 times the packing density we have increased. After that, in 80s to 90s, next 10 years, design goals were split into three: speed, speed power, and ultra low power. So there are three different parts of design objectives. So three different type of chip designs flow were evolved. After that, in after 2000, when we have started packing, the era of very large scale integration, when billions of transistors or billions of devices are packed in the chip, at that time there are a lot of issues, because we have maybe 10 or 100 fold the device size is reduced. Let's say from 10 micron to 100 nanometer. Manifold size of the individual component is reduced. As a result, there are other issues evolved. That is signal integrity, power integrity, delay uncertainty, reliability, and manufacturability. So these are the challenges nowadays. So speed, power, and noise, these are became now trade-off. What is trade-off? If you want to achieve speed, you have to sacrifice power and noise. If I want to achieve power, I have to sacrifice other two, and so on. That is called trade-off. So one you can achieve at the cost of other parameters. Let's say I want high speed design, then I have to sacrifice power, means there will be more power dissipation, and maybe some signal to noise ratio is also more, because in order to reduce the SNR, we have to further increase the power. So that is why you can achieve only one at the cost of further parameters. So that is what is called trade-offs. So now the integrity is now increased manifold. So we'll discuss in detail, but I'm just giving you the overview. So this was from book, your textbook, that is Imre, Salman and Friedman, High Performance Integrated Circuit Design. So these are the technologies. As I discussed, they have started with 5 micron or greater than that, and then slowly they have scaled down the technology. What is scaling? It means that many fold you have reduced the size of the component. So 0.8 micron, 0.6 micron, 0.5 micron, 90 nanometer, 14 nanometer. So right now we are in some 14 nano to 7 nanometer technologies in manufacturing. So integrated circuit, as I told you, I will show you the evolution. You can see here you are in digital electronics, you are going to use smaller ICs where some few gates are packed, or few one or two transistors along with some few resistor and capacitors are packed. From there the whole system is packed in one chip. So that is the evolution. So it is called silicon on chip or computer chip. So because now millions of components, or you can say the whole system is packed in one chip, you can think of how many number of interconnections are there as compared to when it was small scale integration, when some few connections were there. So now wiring is maybe 30 to 40% is the wiring, and as a result this is a challenge. So now you can see the chip, or you can say wafer. This, the first diagram is your wafer. So several hundred identical integrated circuits are made at a time on a thin wafer, several centimeter wide, and the wafer is subsequently sliced into individual IC called chips. What is the another benefit of this manufacturing is there is one wafer, so in which you can say it is divided into some hundred smaller units. So on each unit same procedure is followed whenever it is fabrication. So as a result, from one wafer, let's say 100 or 1000 ICs will come out. So at a time mass fabrication is possible. So there are two benefits. One is you have reduced the area, and another is at a time from one wafer hundreds of chips are manufactured in one go. So this has started in 1958, chip integration. So invention of the integrated circuit was done by Robert Noyce, was working at a Fairchild Semiconductor startup company. He realized a whole circuit could be made on a single chip. While Kilby had hammered out the details of making individual components, Noyce thought of a much better way to connect the parts. That spring, Fairchild began a push to build what they called unitary circuits, and they also applied for a patent on the idea. Knowing that TI, Texas Instruments, had already filed a patent on something similar, Fairchild wrote out a highly detailed application hoping that it wouldn't infringe on TI, Texas Instruments' similar device. So these 3-4 companies were at that time started manufacturing or working in this area, that is known as integrated circuit. Fairchild, Texas Instrument, and so this was the first transistor fabricated, first BJT fabricated by Texas Instruments. So this was the picture of that BJT. You can see here 3 terminals. These are the lab exercise I have planned for you. So we are going to use microwing, which is easily, or Tanner EDA, which can be easily downloaded from the internet. I will show you how to do it. Then design and simulate MOSFET. We will see measure the currents of the MOSFET. Not only that, IV characteristic of the MOSFET. Scaling we will apply on the MOSFET and see what is the effect. We will learn to model interconnect using RC model, observe the effect of scaling on the interconnect, design and simulate CMOS inverter using, all we will do using microwing. We will also design and simulate ring oscillator, D flip-flop, phase lock loop, delay lock loop. Also draw layout of clock distribution network. And I will also assign you one small project based on newer devices like FinFET or SOI devices. So students, we are having 3 lectures per week. So mostly 2 or 2.5 lecture I will be discussing about theory, and 1.5 lecture we will be discussing about this lab exercises, so that you will get some hands-on experience and we will be able to break the monotonicity. So these are the references. First book is your textbook, which is Imre and Salman Ebai Friedman, High Performance Integrated Circuit Design, McGraw Hill. Another 2 books are we will be using as a reference book. So Neil West, this book I have, so I will email you. And third book is available in our library, so when you physically come, you can bring that book. First book is not available, so I will scan pages chapter wise and upload in the Moodle and or email you. And so don't worry about the book, it is with me and it is my responsibility to provide the book. So as far as material is concerned, please don't worry, I will share my PPT and these books and notes whatever I have. Okay, so thank you.